I'm George Curtis. Welcome to It's Your Law. Each week it's my privilege to bring you guests that can tell us a little bit about what's happening, what should be happening, and what might not be happening with our law. It's prosecuted largely by public servants. It's defended largely by private attorneys, which means that people have to come up with some money one way or another to rent or use or hire a private attorney. Money's a little short these days, as you've probably noticed. We're in a recession. Even the politicians in Washington are admitted that. Often when there is a shortage of money and a recession, there's an increase in crime. And we're going to find out a little bit today what's going on in the crime business, whether crime is paying and who it's paying. So we've got a prosecutor, the district attorney for Winnebago County, Christian Gossett, and one of the outstanding defense lawyers in the Valley, Mike Rudolph. They're going to tell us a little bit about crime and the prosecution, the DA's office, the defense business, and what it means to you. Because it could mean a lot to you. Some seemingly relatively innocent incident when you're 18, 19, 20, or 25 years old could stop you dead in your tracks when you're a little more mature and you want to do something with your life. Let's begin with the district attorney. Christian, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Last time you were on, I think you were running for the office. Now, you won.
Actually, last time we were talking about guns.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yes.
Well, I remember that you went to St. Olaf's.
Correct.
And you had a background in religion, which kind of scares me. But you, you then found another lily pad to put your other foot on, and you went into law enforcement, and you were a police officer.
Correct.
And with that background, somehow you got into being a prosecutor, ran for office, succeeded, if winning is succeeding. And
watch what you wish for.
All right. And now you're managing an office. Tell us a little bit about how many people and how many dollars you've got to work with.
In the Winnebago County District Attorney's Office, we have a total of 26 employees. We have 10 prosecutors, and the balance is investigators, legal secretaries, and victim witness support staff. The District Attorney's Office is funded by two different entities. The county, Winnebago County, pays for our office space, all of our office expenses, and the staff personnel, our legal secretaries, paralegals, investigators, and victim witness personnel. That is approximately a $1 million to $1.1 million budget that we operate with there. And then the attorneys in the office are funded by the state.
Now, your job is to prosecute crime. There's a lot of crime going on. With a staff that size, you can't really prosecute a lot of the crime. What do you do?
Well, and that's the problem that we're facing today. And we're staffed now at the same level we were in 2001. And in that time, or since 2003, actually, we've seen, between 2003 and 2007, we've seen a 68% increase in felony caseloads, felonies being the most serious offenses we prosecute, without any increase in staffing. So at this point in time, we're understaffed by approximately 50%, 4.57 positions, and it's forced us to make some decisions about where we're going to focus our attention.
And not only that, a lot of your police work is done by agencies that are also understaffed. In this office, and I do not do criminal work at this time, I do civil work, I've been waiting for approximately a year in 4 death cases for the State Patrol to complete an accident reconstruction, and it hasn't taken place.
Yep, and we're seeing that across the board. The crime lab is still backlogged approximately 1 year in the state of Wisconsin. State Patrol had several positions cut back in 2003. They haven't been replaced despite the significant increase in crashes. Last year in Winnebago County, we had 7 fatal crashes. Actually, I shouldn't say 7. We had 7 that look like they're probably going to be criminal. 6 that involved alcohol, 1 that appears appears to have involved drugs. And we're waiting on more than one of those cases just to get the rest of the reports and before we can prosecute those.
All right, so justice gets stalled from the beginning. The State Patrol, probably the police departments, are also understaffed, and that's a lack of money. And who has the power to change the staffing?
The only group that can do that right now is the state.
That's the legislature?
Yeah, that would have to be the legislature, and the governor would have to approve it. At the local level, the interesting thing is the understaffing that we're experiencing in the district attorney's office is based on the low levels that law enforcement is dealing with. So if we added law enforcement to all of our departments, we added more police officers to the street, it would just make our problem that much worse.
And of course, with a short staff and all of that delay, somebody my age in his 70s could probably pretty safely commit a crime and know that he's going to expire before he has to face the jury. Or isn't it that bad?
You know, some of the things go very, very quickly. It's whenever we have to get into evidence that needs to be analyzed by the crime lab, reconstruction that needs to be done. Reconstructing crashes is a time-consuming process. You know, what the crime lab has to do, even the hygiene lab does all of the toxicology analysis for the state. They have 13 analysts for the entire state of Wisconsin. 72 counties. We have 13 analysts analyzing all of those blood samples taken. In Winnebago County last year we had 660 criminal OWI cases, so that's not counting first offenses. So they're getting absolutely overwhelmed and they're running into the same problems. And in fact, we're seeing jury trials having to be adjourned 2-3 times to get analysts available because they're in such high demand. So the entire process is being slowed down. Locally, law enforcement is actually doing a very nice job. They're operating pretty quickly. They move at a decent rate. They have a high clearance rate, so they're resolving most of the cases that they have. And even in the district attorney's office, it's kind of ironic. The less serious the case is, the faster it goes through. Because if we don't have to rely on crime lab evidence, if we don't have to rely on reconstruction, if we don't have to rely on experts, we can get the case in and get the case out.
We're going to have to take our first break, but the picture that I'm getting, Christian, is that awful lot of cases that probably should be dealt with a charge, perhaps with a trial, simply can't be done for all of those staffing reasons. And then if one is set for trial, and that particular day the expert from the crime lab can't come to your trial because they're still tied up in one in Superior, then the defense gets Mike Rudolph to say, "Motion to dismiss, Your Honor."
That's correct. That does happen sometimes. So it's going to be interesting navigating all of this, but I think mostly it's time to start fixing the problem.
Sounds like it. Let's take a break and we'll get Mr. Rudolph up here to get his point of view.